We are racing through this, so they do end up going back for the Doom, who probably one of the first times this whole tournament he's been selected in the second phase, but he just kind of slipped through the cracks here in terms of the other bands seem to be more important, and now we get the glorious Morphling.
This is a carry we've all been pretty hot on this tournament.
Yep. I mean, things that are great about the Morphling. He can go. He's kind of like
everything.
Like,
2 HP bars. That's pretty good,
right? What
right?
phase of the game is Morphling bad? You know what I mean?
Level 1 maybe in a certain lane. No, because if you always get the attribute shift, right? Like we saw the Morphling get first blooded in 2 of the games because they go for a rune and you just die, and then you honestly don't get regen.
Yeah, but then he comes back to lane and he gets level 2, and all those problems disappear. So it's a pretty small window there.
I think even you all are always just weak because it is hard to like get that agility to strength at level 1. If you get tri-laned, I think this hero would have a big issue with tri-lanes.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm with you.
It's also one that you can't just like straight up first phase him, or else then he would truly be ultimately broken,
yes.
right?
I mean, he's susceptible to burst. I guess that's really his big weakness, right? Your Lenas, your Lions. Grimstroke. So Grim Doom.
Okay. Yeah, nice little silence too. Pretty good versus the Bane. Okay versus the Xiao Shaman. Okay versus the Queen of Pain. This is a nice Grimstroke game. Like the hero definitely struggles a bit more because he just got straight nerfed. I mean, he was super broken.
He was.
For sure. But now he's maybe a little under the 50-50 line. But I definitely like it.
He's one of the heroes you can also... They have a lot of deep push, right? You have the Fade Bolt, Rubik, the Razor Plasma Field, Grimstroke with the Stroke of Fate. They have a lot of high ground defense.
Hadoukens maybe, you know, clear those waves. Like 3 times before going back to base for mana.
Rubik, the Razor Plasma.
Troll now taken out by NIP is their final ban. Obviously, Ehome looking for a position 1. I suppose the Razor could be flex, but...
I think the only problem I see with Ehome's draft right now, I actually really do like their lockdown in lanes, but if this goes anywhere past 40 minutes, they just a Morphling Queen of Pain, and you already have a Razor Doom set as cores. Like, it is a little bit scary going to late game. Ehome needs something decently big, or they got to go all in on this early game.
And they don't push that well. If you're looking at a timer to close this out, it might be difficult, even if you go for like the Aghanim's Razor.
Their Spectre is there. I mean, if they want to just go for that. There's also still the Sven, which pairs a little better with the Grimstroke.
Yeah.
Sven's, it's like good and bad versus Morph.
Honestly, I like Sven more than Spectre for sure. I like someone who can definitely be active, right? Spectre, you might not even get to play a game if you lose to if you lose your lane to a Morphling, you might just lose the game at 20 minutes. Not even going to play.
Guys, where's Lifestealer been? I think that's a hero we've not talked about much over the last few days. He has fallen off the radar.
That's true.
2 of the heroes on Ehome, right? I don't think a Lifestealer wants to play versus a Doom or a Razor many of the times. I think just the heroes that are really popular are really good counters to Lifestealer.
Yeah, we've also moved into kind of like a more ranged-based like carries, it almost feels like, right? Because we're getting these Razors, and that's forcing things into like the Morphling, the Queen of Pain that we're seeing. We have all these Drow lineups coming too, and so we've kind of lost the Lifestealer, Jug, Ursa trio. You still get Troll, because Troll's kind of ranged, which is nice, right? That is quite the shift from the very beginning of this tournament, for sure.
And Lifestealer is not a good laner in 2v2 lanes, because pretty much you just guarantee you this really garbage slow. Yeah. 2v2 lanes, he just gets run over. Unlike someone like a Troll who can just spam Whirling Axes, attack you from range.
Actually get kills. Lifestealer just wants a Midas Radiance.
Tidehunter ban into a Wraith King.
Okay. So a more classic pairing with the Grimstroke, like the Sven, but has a bit more push potential. Because I was trying to think of a position 1 that would actually help them take down towers, and I didn't think of this one.
Well, the Skellies are good.
Yeah, they have to play fast though. They definitely, if this does go late game, Morphling Queen of Pain, you could just have a 4v5 and they'd probably win this.
I think it's not that bad, just because you have Doom, right? Like I think Doom can just win you team fights late game, kind of no matter what.
True, but who do you want to Doom, a Quap or a Morph?
I think the Morph's probably going to be too tough to get, I would assume. So I think like the Queen of Pain, if she ever blinks in a bad spot, and then whatever the offlane is, you can probably Doom. Like this is probably going to be some Aura carrier.
Yeah, looking for a 33 hero.
Whoa!
Okay.
Okay.
Now,
we talked at 33, and he said this hero is still reasonably viable.
True. He didn't lie.
Ace said the same thing. I asked him in the interview on press day. I said, "Your Meepo, your Arc Warden, your Brood, are they viable?" And he said, "Brood is better than a lot of people think. She's more viable than she's been getting credit for. Look out!" He gave me the wink, and little did I know, the grand finals. They've been waiting. Ace, you dog.
I don't even know if it was the pick, but it hyped me up. I honestly don't know if it was the pick. Now this actually makes me favor Ehome a little more, but I'm not going to doubt a Peter last pick. If you're picking a Meepo or a Brood last pick for someone like 33 or Ace, I'm just going with it.
Didn't we just talk about how they had a lot of clear, though?
The what?
A
Yeah,
lot
they
of
do have a
clear.
lot of clear, but you can definitely, right. You don't really want
You
to
don't have
push
to go
as a
all in on the
5-man with
spatters.
Brood
Yeah.
too. Like you
True.
want to be splitting up lanes and ganking. I don't know. I just think
I always have such a hard time going against 10 pick Broods too.
same. I'm not
It's
going
like a
to.
meepo.
I think NIP has showed they're the best team at the tournament thus far, and if they're pulling out a 10th pick surprise pick, I'm just going to go with them.
Okay. I'm inclined to agree. I'd
mean,
love to disagree, but I don't have a devil's advocate
keys to
for
the
this
game is
one.
definitely the Brood Mother, right? Like that hero is just so boom or bust. So it's going to be all on what happens there.
Okay, well, very good. Exciting picks in our first game for the best of 5 grand finals. Let's send it down to our casters, Moxie and Lizard.
Thank you so much, Ziori. All right, we've got it. We've got our best of 5, our grand finals, and we got a Brood Mama.
Instantly, they open up with the Brood Mother. Yesterday, they ended up with the Meepo. This day, they start off with the Brood Mother, man. Like NIP, they're going guns blazing into this best of 5 grand finals.
This is going to be very exciting to watch. What do you think about this Brood Mother pick?
Like we haven't seen her played a lot, right? So actually on the Dream League Major, there was one pick, I believe it was Witchy Gaming, that played the full bug strat. They went like Brood, Nyx, Weaver, they went with all the bugs and they demolished the enemy team. Basically, this Brood Mother is a fast-paced hero, like a tempo controller that you just, yeah, those tips for the 3-3, tips for his Brood, because you have to tip him. He's playing a Brood Mother last pick. That's just nasty.
Already getting those webs placed. Let's see, 430.
This could prove to be a little bit problematic for the Brood Mother, though. I believe she should dominate this lane still. I think she wins hands down easily versus the Razor. But I've seen some matchups, like Furion versus Razor, Brood versus Razor, in which if Razor maxes his unstable current, like it's been changed, it zaps the spiders, it zaps the treants. However, I think still that Brood Mother is just completely favored on this mid lane, and if she's left unchecked, she's just gonna demolish them. She's gonna take over their jungle, start taking towers, and it's gonna be a one-sided story, just like that Meepo game yesterday.
So the way that you usually try to shut down a Brood Mother, right, is you try to put people in your lane, you're trying to, just slow her down a little bit, because if she doesn't get going right away, it tends to be, as you said, problematic.
Yep.
But in this case, if you're putting that much pressure on this Brood Mother, the other lanes, they're going to do so well.
The thing is, you can't pressure her. You can rotate perhaps around that mid lane, but that's not gonna work. She's still gonna just pop a couple of webs in the woods and farm the jungle. She won't really care, and that's your biggest problem. Like, you can't shut this hero down on the lane. There are some counters like perhaps Kunkka and maybe Tiny. They work really well, but obviously
too late now.
Ehome, it's too late. They only have this Razor on the mid lane, and Rasta also scouting for the courier. I don't think they should fall for that.
If they get the courier, that's going to be a just incredible start off for Brood Mother, who's already, going to dominate this lane.
Yeah. On the flip side, though, on the side of Ehome, what you have to be thinking about, you have to get an early Crimson on the Doom. You have Grimstroke versus the Brood as well. Those Broodlings just amplify his first spell. So overall, Stroke of Fate is really good versus Brood later on to defend.
All right, we're going to see some trading back around here in the mid lane. And I mean, one of the nice things about, this Brood Mother, unlike the Quap, right? Quap can usually blink herself away from that static link. So, 430 will be able to get a little bit of damage off of her, but
Yeah.
not
in
enough.
the beginning,
Not enough to
because
really
you can run over the
deal with
cliffs
all
and you can also just go to the jungle. So he can he can dominate maybe a first few waves, and he has to, because later on it's just Brood's game.
Oh, Fata in the top lane, he takes a lot of damage.
Yeah, he's living life on the edge as he started off with the Shadow Strike. At the same time, Saxa is just pulling, right, creep skipping, and you can't really be fighting or pressuring that Wraith King after that happens. Also, Grimstroke, he started with the Stroke of Fate, not with Inkswell, so he's dishing out a lot of damage right now too.
I already see him winding up, just trying to put as much pressure on Fata as possible. Saxa, though, he does hit considerably hard, is going to push back Y.
If you're Grimstroke, you cannot fight versus Rasta. It's just not an option, and you have to go back after that. You wasted a lot of your mana, so perhaps using these mangoes, pulling, and just waiting for your levels is the right option. This is a really strong combination of heroes. Grimstroke plus Wraith King. This is an old school combo. You have the Inkswell stun into the Inkswell, that is, and that can be very dangerous for the Rasta or Queen of Pain.
Would you have rather... Now, I know that he went for the Stroke of Fate for level 1. Would you have rather seen maybe the Inkswell getting picked up with Ray Fire Blast to just really put that pressure down?
He could have went for the Inkswell, but I believe then you were kind of thinking maybe Pop goes for Blink, and that's why he didn't. Inkswell also got nerfed, and it costs a little bit more of more mana. So overall, you can spam out Stroke of Fate a little bit better. So that's the reasoning behind that spell on level 1. I think on level 3, you're going to have the Silence, the Stroke of Fate, and the Ink Spell, and that's your chance to actually win that lane on the top.
Okay, definitely going to keep an eye on that mid lane. You're seeing that damage getting sapped away from 33 again. Doesn't care too much when he's got those variable things up.
Yeah, you can see that he went 2 levels into Unstable Current, so he has thought about this and he understands this matchup very well. This is his only chance to win it, and so far he's doing all right. He has 15 CS. Some of that CS is though from the Spiderlings and Spiderlights, and they give nothing. That's like 3 to 9 gold. Later on, we'll most likely see this Razor like 20-30 CS ahead, but the net worth is going to be very similar to the Broods. We're going to have to wait and see what this Brood builds for. Is it going to be some Dominator build? Is it going to be Medallion into Diffusal? There are many pathways, and all of them look pretty legit in this game. They look good. Like, Diffusal is good versus the Braid King. The Dominator is good to pressure. Overall, solid Brood game.
What would you prefer to see? Because I know, like, right now we've been talking a lot about that Helm of the Dominator getting picked up on heroes such as Darkseer, getting picked up on Enigma. Is that the best choice right now to really put that pressure down since they don't have the greatest option in dealing with her? Or would you rather see her itemized, you know, for a little bit later?
You don't necessarily have to itemize for late as Brood. You kind of scale progressively. You have multiple peaks in the game, so I believe she can go for the Dominator or the Diffusal early on and just apply pressure across the map. I think that's what you have to do as Brood, because if you aren't applying pressure, you're doing something wrong. And right now, she